Welcome on into another episode of Getting Wild with Terry and Friends. I'm Terry, Nick beside me, Brian down below. I also have picks from Dave and Ryan as well at the end. So we'll get to those at the end of the show. But I have to take ownership. I'll take ownership right off the bat. Yesterday, I said you could clip it. I said my best bet was going to cash. And Atlanta and the Dodgers both lost. So that was a kind of unfortunate night, but those happen. I've been winning overall, still leading best bets. So the fact that everybody else did well, everybody else did good, kind of made me happy. So it was a good night for the show, and hopefully we'll keep it on going. We have some good games to talk about. I picked out 5 for us to talk about, and of course, last pitch. And we'll jump right into the first one here. The Miami Marlins are in Cincinnati facing the Reds. We have Pablo Lopez on the mound for the Marlins, Hunter Green on the mound for the Reds. You can find Miami anywhere from minus 110 to minus 118. Cincinnati anywhere from minus 102 to minus 108. And mostly 8.5s across the board. In this one, I like Miami. I'm taking Miami first 5 money line. And basically the reason for that, I did say I wasn't going to bet any more Hunter Green games because he does have that tendency to pitch really bad, but then also have pretty good games. But basically what I've seen from him as of late, he's been giving up earned runs. The one game against Tampa Bay, not so much, but against the Mets and the Cardinals, he gave up a lot of runs. I think Miami can have a lead after 5 innings. It sucks that they were last time I bet that with Alcantara on the mound, of course. They led in the 6th. Couldn't do it in the 5th, but I think they'll do it here. I think they'll get out to an early lead. It is Miami offense, so of course that's why I'm on the money line and not the run line, just in case the push factor. But I like Miami and Lopez here against Hunter Green. Nick, Marlins Reds, any thoughts on this one?
I completely passed on this game. For me, I feel like Hunter Green is one of the most variant pitchers I've seen all year. He's either extremely dominant or he throws batting practice, 100-mile-an-hour batting practice. But beyond the point, I stay completely off this one. I've had nothing but terrible reads on this series, other than that first game where I had the first 500. Or no, that was the Alcantara start. That wasn't against the Reds. So no, or was it? No, I wasn't. I've had nothing but bad reads in this series, so I'm going to stay completely off of this one. This was a pass.
All right, Bryant, Marlins and Reds. What do you think here?
Yeah. Last night was pretty cool. I had the Reds F5 money line, and they got off to an auspicious start. I wasn't too fond of how things started, but Trevor Rogers showed the Trevor Rogers of 2022 that we've come to expect at this point, and the Reds just lit them up, and they hit the gas and they never looked back. So that was cool. Nice little cash there. Tonight I'm flipping the coin. I'm going to the Marlins side. Pablo Lopez posted a 3.80 ERA in the month of July. Wasn't great. It's decent. Obviously started off the season on a absolute heater. But I ultimately can't back Hunter Green here. He struggles at home. I think that he's still figuring out pitch location and understanding like variance and stuff like that as a young pitcher, and it's catching it up. And I know the Marlins offense sucks, but I just need one run, and I need Pablo Lopez to push on through and keep this Reds offense at bay. And I think that's kind of where I'm at with it. So to that point, I went ahead and got the Marlins F5 money line at minus 115. I'm going to ride with that. I have no desire to take the Marlins full game because their bullpen, it can be shaky at times. And, so that's my play in this game. It's just the Marlins F5 money line. And I think that there's also value if you're into this sort of thing, there's value in getting Pablo Lopez an outs prop because the Marlins used a lot of arms yesterday. And I think that regardless of what happens, if for some reason he gets lit up or he just goes deep in the game because he's absolutely shoving out there, I think Lopez has to go at least, 6 innings tonight. And I think with that, you can get decent value, somewhat decent value on Pablo Lopez over 16 and a half outs. I think that's a pretty solid bet in itself. So that's just my prediction.
All right. Go Miami. I like the fact that Hunter Green is also a righty. That's something that kind of made me willing to pull the trigger too. If he was a lefty, there'd be no way I'd be making the play. But we'll go on to the next game. The Rays are in Baltimore for the second game of this series. I will bring up the odds here. We currently have Tampa Bay mostly around minus 190 to minus 120 or minus 200. You can find Baltimore plus 170 to plus 155. 7.5s every single book here. And I'm going to the total, but I'm going to the total in the first 5. First 5 under 4. The best you can find for it right now is minus 115. And that's actually what I got it for here in this one. If you wanted to take the minus under 4.5 for minus 139, if you do play that price, and everyone's different. But if you don't mind the minus 139, I really like that as well. Basically, the reasons for it, we got McClanahan on the mound for Tampa Bay. We basically know what we're going to get from him when he comes out to pitch. And on the other side, Spencer Watkins, he was injured for about a month, but since he's returned, he's gone 5 innings and all 4 starts. He's won 3 of the 4, the other one a no decision, and he has not given up more than 1 earned run in any of his starts. He has pitched really well in the 4 games, and it was White Sox, Minnesota, Texas, and the Cubs. So 3 of the games were on the road. The 1 game against Texas at home. So he's pitched pretty well. So I like the first 5 under 4. I would have taken it at a 3.5. So I like the 4 at minus 115. Nick, Rays and Orioles. What do you think here?
Yeah, looking at this one, I think that we're going to continue to see Shane McClanahan be Shane McClanahan. I have that exact same play, the first 5 under 4. One thing I will say for future references for Shane McClanahan, I think in the second half of the year, we're going to be able to find good opportunities to fade him a little bit, because if we look at how many innings he's pitched so far this year, he's thrown 110 and 2/3 innings pitched. The most he's thrown in a season is 123. So he's going to be passing his career high in innings pitched soon. And I think that arm fatigue and dead arm could be a very realistic thing come the last couple months for Shane McClanahan, especially if you're going to see him hit the 160s, 170s, 180s, 200 inning mark, where it's a dramatic difference compared to what he's thrown in previous years. I think we're going to find good chances and good opportunities to fade McClanahan at big plus money. Don't think tonight's the night for that. I do think he comes out, he pitches pretty well. He is coming in off of a little bit of a break. Obviously, he pitched that first inning of the All-Star game. Didn't look great. But I think this is a spot here where we see this game stay first 5 under 4. And I got it at minus 125.
All right. I like it. Bryant, Rays and Orioles. Any thoughts on this one?
Yeah. My boys on the mound, I love Shane McClanahan. And I get to go back to my favorite prop that's been highly profitable for me this entire season. And Shane has been one of the driving forces to making it a highly profitable endeavor. It's that F5 team total. And with one of the better pitchers in the league, you go under. And the reason why I'm picking this specific one today, I'm going under half a run. So basically, for him to hold them scoreless for 5 innings, McClanahan has starts giving up 1 or 0 runs. He gave up 2 runs in the NL All-Star game, or I said the AL All-Star, AL NL All-Star game. He gave up 2 runs, which is more than he had given up in 6 of his last 7 starts. Prior to that, his biggest, I guess, his worst outing, quote unquote, was 4 against the Yankees. I distinctly remember that. It was against Garrett Cole. He was in the Bronx. He missed on a couple fastballs and they got put in the bleachers. But other than that, he's been nails, absolute nails. And I don't really see a lot of value with the way the Rays offenses look lately, and going at minus 195 on the run line. Maybe you add that to a parlay. There's no real good value on the F5 run line at minus a half at minus 160. So for me, like I said, I'm going to put all of my eggs in the basket of the best pitcher on either side and play the numbers here. He's done the job for the most part these last few. If you want to take insurance and just throw this in a parlay, you can take them 1.5. The Orioles team total under 1.5 for the first 5. It's at minus 160 right now. I think that's a safe bet. But I want the value, and I'm willing to take the quote-unquote risk with the guy who has elite stuff. He has 4 elite pitches, and I'm gonna take the plus 190. So it's plus 190 for the Orioles F5 team total under half a run. That's going to be my official play in this game. Like I said, I do think the Rays win, but with the way the Orioles have played, I don't feel confident just putting a single unit on the Rays to win at minus 195. So,
all right, and we'll move on along to the next game. Nick and I did a free pick video for this one yesterday. As I said on the show, that I wanted to get this game talked about earlier on because I did figure that the line would move. It was open at plus 105, plus 100, and now the best you can find for it is minus 108, but it goes from minus 110 to minus 122, and that's the Jays run line here. Andre Palante for the Cardinals. He's been giving up hits and runs. In his last game against Cincinnati, 6 hits, 3 earned runs in an actual win, but it was against Cincinnati. The previous game, 9 hits, 3 earned runs against Philadelphia. And the game before that, on the road in Atlanta, he went 3.2 innings and gave up 10 hits and 7 earned runs. Now he's coming to Toronto, a team that's playing well and on a winning streak. And Buck Martinez is returning to the booth to call this game. It's going to be an emotional time for fans, but I think the Jays will come to here to play for him tonight. And then also the COVID news with the vaccine. The Cardinals' best 2 players, Goldschmidt and Arenado, will not be playing, or not even in Toronto. So they won't be here. Toronto's playing well right now. So even I took it at plus 100 for 2 units. But I want to talk anybody off if even at minus 108, minus 110, minus 115. I may actually add the Jays minus 2.5 after the show. I'll kind of see what the price is after the show and kind of look at that because I think they come out to a dominant win here in this one. Nick, Cardinals and Blue Jays, obviously I know where you stand. We did the free pick video yesterday, but for the people that didn't see it, what do you think in this game?
Yeah, I'm happy I bet the game when I did. I got plus 105 for the full game run line. I was looking a little bit at that first 5, and then I saw it was like minus 145. I was like, never mind, we'll just do full game. Yeah, I mean, and also you look at the pitching matchup here. Obviously, Palante is here or there, really, and Barrios has been a pitcher I've been looking to fade a lot this year. But I've noticed something with him, and he's becoming what a lot of sports bettors absolutely love with pitchers. He's coming predictable. He's terrible on the road, and he's amazing at home. He's 5-0 at home so far this year. So, and with a 3.33 ERA compared to, I believe, a 7 ERA on the road this year, or a 6-something ERA on the road. He's been really bad away from Toronto. But he's back at home. Usually that's where you see his best performances. So I took the run line here.
All right. Listen to Tim. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. Every day, 4 p.m. Eastern, except for weekends. Bryant, Cardinals, Blue Jays. What do you think in this game?
Yeah, I gotta back the guys from Toronto here. I think even though we had this exact situation happen with the Royals going to Toronto, I think this is even worse. One, because the Cardinals are legitimately in a playoff race. They're chasing the wild card, and I mean, really, technically, really still the division. And unequivocally, they're two best players. I mean, far and away, and these guys aren't slouches. They're not like mid-level guys. These are two of the best players outright in the entire sport. And they're not going to be there. And the Blue Jays seem to have conjured up some sort of Canadian voodoo magic or whatever recently, and things are starting to click for them overall. And I don't like the matchup for Palante to go up against this Blue Jays team that's kind of rolling. Obviously, we saw what they did last week to the Boston Red Sox. Join the club. But I like the Blue Jays in the run line here. It's the best value, I think, for me. I don't really like minus 220. We kind of saw how that went, or how that's gone overall, of course, across baseball the last couple of weeks with these super duper high favorites. And I still have to proceed with caution because it is Jose Berrios. But ultimately, I do like the Jays. They get a second shot at this kind of similar scenario, and I think that they take care of business much better and much cleaner than they did against the Royals in this specific situation. So I'm going to go with the Jays on the run line. I've already locked it in, so it's really no going back at this point. So Terry, put the call in, please. Let's get this done.
All right. So the three of us all in the same exact play. But
if you look at it, though, I do think this series does have a different look than the Kansas City series, because Kansas City sucked to begin with, and then they lost half of their good players. When you look at the lineup for the Cardinals, it still has talent on it. It's not like they have half the lineup making their MLB debut. Tommy Edman was honestly an all-star snub. Dylan Carlson's still good. Tyler O'Neill has pop. Donovan had good stats in San Fran last year. Nolan Gorman's a decent rookie. Pujols is Pujols. So I mean, they still got some talent there on the Cardinals. It's not like the Royals where they completely lost like half their lineup and all their good players. And hence why we're not seeing the Blue Jays at minus 300, minus 400 like they were against the Royals.
No, absolutely. And I think also
true. I would have been on the same play even if Arenado and Goldschmidt were in the lineup. I'd still
be getting a better price.
Yeah, I'd get a much better price. But Sam says 5-2. I'll take it. I could see that, but I could see a higher scoring game too for people looking at the total. I could see some runs scored in this game.
I'll never talk you off an over with Berrios on the mound. He's, I believe, still one of the highest percentage of overs pitchers.
I agree.
There you go. And going on to the next game, Nick against Bryant, the Yankees against the Mets. Not a whole lot of opinion on this game for me. I chose it because it is one of the marquee games, marquee matchups here tonight. The Battle of New York, Montgomery against Walker. It is Mets against a lefty. So if I had to make a play here, I would be taking the Yankees. But when I bet for the Mets, they lose. And when I bet against the Mets, they win. So I'm just not going to jump into.
So bet the Yankees. By all means, bet the Yankees.
So I'm not going to jump into this game just because of how things have gone when I bet for against the Mets. And I could easily see this being a Yankees win. I could see this being a Mets win. I could see under, over. really I could see anything in this game, so it's ultimately a pass for me. But I have a feeling that you two guys will have an opinion on this one. So I'll quickly, before you do, I'll quickly go through the odds. Yankees minus 115 and minus 120. Mets minus 105 to plus 102. And mostly 7.5s with some 8s available. Nick, Yankees and Mets, what do you think here?
Yeah, maybe there's a pitching advantage on the Mets side with Walker against Montgomery, or I'm a biased piece of crap, but I'm going to back the Mets here tonight. First 5 full game. And when you look at Taijuan Walker, he's been really good as of late. Honestly, I think he is potentially an all-star snub as well, going pitching the way he has the last month. He's allowed 1 or no earned runs in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of his last 7 starts. So he's been extremely dominant, especially at home. 2-0 record with a 1.5 ERA and 36 innings pitched at Citi Field, and that's exactly where he's going to be tonight. And when you look at Jordan Montgomery, I feel like he's always somebody that will give you 2 to 3 earned runs in those first 5 innings. So I think the Mets can get a couple against Jordan Montgomery. Yes, I know it's the Mets against a lefty, but he's not the highest quality of lefties. So I do think that the Mets will be able to get a few runs off of Montgomery here. So I end up siding with the Mets here. It's a pitching advantage in my opinion, and I think there's a bullpen advantage with the Mets as well, with Michael King going down for the season, and just that Yankees bullpen's been very iffy lately as well. So this is a spot here. I took the Mets. I think that there's a pitching advantage with Walker.
All right. And Nick is my guy,
Also,
but he's
Stanton's hurt, so he won't be in the lineup.
That's true. But he's a Mets fan, Yankees for the dub. And
Sure.
Brian's a Yankees fan, so we'll get to hear the Yankees fan opinion as well. But Brian, what do you think here? Yankees and Mets?
Yeah, it's that time of the year. First Subway Series matchup of the season. I think this is a weird spot. I'm really excited for this series. I know it's on the long one, but I am interested to see how New York responds. No Michael King. We won't have Stanton tonight. And they face a pretty solid guy in Walker tonight. And tomorrow they stare down the god of death as Max Scherzer is on the mound. And we are arguably sending our worst starter to the mound tomorrow. So this is almost a must-win for me in the sense of the series. But ultimately, I think that they need this win as like a boost. They've been kind of shaky in certain aspects over the last couple of weeks. Not necessarily horrible, not necessarily great. Definitely not the pace that they were at the beginning of the season. So tonight, I need them to come out with some energy, and I do believe that they do it. I believe there's a sense of urgency here, largely because of what Nick said. There's some guys out, and I think that they sneak this game. They will sneak a dub out. I don't know how. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but they'll find a way to win this game, and that's kind of where I woke up this morning. I went to bed last night feeling the same way. I think they're finding a way to win this game. So I am going to put money on the Yankees money line, yeah, that's not even my best bet. My best bet comes from this game, but I do think the Yankees win. I think that the only way they win this game, though, is they jump on Walker early, because I'm going to get nervous if we go into the 7th, 8th, 9th inning and this is a close game, because we just don't have the options back there. Or I take that back, we do have the options back there, but Loaizaga and Chapman are not themselves, and you don't have King anymore. So it's basically just Clay Holmes and Wandy Peralta, and they're just kind of floating. So if you like the Mets, I think the Mets value comes in the first 5, or a full game, I should say, because then you get to get into a matchup with the bullpens. And I think the Mets right now, is currently constructed, they do have a better bullpen. So yeah, like I said, my value is on the Yanks to win the game. But I think if I'm going to put money on a side, and I'm going to advocate for someone to put money on the side for the Yankees, it would be the F5. I'm a glutton for pain, so I'm going to put it on the full game. But I highly advise you to put Yankees F5 if you're going to go for a side. But yeah, I think they sneak out a win because tomorrow it's gonna be ugly. Mets minus 2.5 tomorrow.
All right. Kev says Yankees first 5 run line -0.5.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, the only way they win this game is if they jump out on Walker early and get go up 4 runs and they keep piling on. But if this game goes 7, if it's tied after like the 6th, 7th inning, I would if the game is tied, I would live bet the Mets. I would absolutely live bet the Mets because the bullpens are just not the same. So
maybe Lugo will come in.
Yeah.
Please no.
That's our only hope. Only hope.
Sam says Walker isn't. I heard Walker isn't.
I didn't hear anything about that.
Oh, okay.
I haven't heard anything about him being hurt or anything like that. And I don't know why you'd lay the run line for the Yankees first 5. You can get it for -120 in the first 5. So
that too, yeah. You're paying for an extra. I mean, because you have to win. You can't even get your money back if it's tied. So
yeah. We'll go on to the next one. The Angels are in the Kansas City facing the Royals. Maybe I like pain, but I'm going back to the same bet I bet yesterday. It was a push, so it didn't lose. But of course, Kansas City took the lead afterwards. But I'm taking Kansas City first 5 money line, which I got for -125 earlier. The best you can find it right now is -122. And then -130 in other spots. So if you can find it at that around -120, -135, I wouldn't really play it, but I played it -125. The main reason being, I saw this Zerpa guy pitch against Toronto a couple weeks ago or a week and a bit ago, and he is good. He is a good pitcher. He has some stuff. Suarez on the other side, he has not looked good lately. 6 earned runs in his last game against the Dodgers, 4 earned runs in 3 innings against the Baltimore the game before that. The game against Houston, not too bad, 4 hits, 2 earned runs the game before that. But I think Kansas City can get the lead here and be leading after 5. So I'll back Zerpa and the Royals in this one. Nick, Angels, Royals, what do you think here?
hell yeah, get my boy Angel Zerpa on the mound. Catch me a nice big plus money ticket the last time he pitched. But I'm going to go right back to him here in the first 5. I got it at -135. I could see this being tied at the end of 5. That's why I didn't lay the run line and kind of had that little safety blanket of it only being a money line for the first 5. Going up against Suarez, who his advanced numbers don't look particularly great. And I saw a decent line movement towards the Royals that I liked. So I was end up siding with what I saw were the bigger bets in this game with the Royals, because I'm seeing majority of the tickets on the Angels, but yet the majority of the cash is on the Royals in this spot here. And that's something I usually like to see, is those bigger bets coming in on one specific side. So I'm going to side with the Royals here in that first 5 innings.
I'm glad to be on the right side of that for a change, because usually I'm not really on that right side, so I'm glad.
Yeah, it's what I'm seeing is 74% of the tickets are on the Angels, but yet 53% of the cash. So if you're looking at it from the Royals perspective, only 26% of the tickets are on the Royals, but over 53% of the cash is on the Royals. So the bigger bets have come in on the Royals in this game.
Interesting. Bryant, Angels and Royals, are you getting involved in this one?
I am not. I had the Royals money line last night. One of the few things that I did cash on, and ironically enough, I didn't think I was going to. But I have no desire to play with fire 2 times in a row. I'm going to take my Royals win, and that would probably be it for me betting with the Royals tonight. And I don't really have any confidence in backing the Angels, so this is a stay away game for me.
All right. And we'll move on along before we get to last pitch. BetStamp, use code WILD when signing up. Find the best odds for whatever you are betting. and you can find myself there and other cappers as well. And you can find best odds for whatever you're looking for, whatever you want to bet. Use code WILD when signing up. We'll move on to last pitch. For me, not too much else on the slate. I have one other bet other than the four that I've given out so far, and that is in the Atlanta Philly game. I'm taking Aaron Nola over 7.5 strikeouts at minus 105. Basically, Braves are one of the highest strikeout teams. And Nola, he has the ability to be a good strikeout pitcher on any given night. So I'll take his strikeout props at mine. I got it at minus 105 for over 7.5 in this one. No real opinion on the side in that game. Atlanta seems to possibly have hit a little struggle here. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. But I don't want to back them for the third night in a row and get burned. So I'll just take the strikeout prop there. And basically not much other opinion on the slate for the other games. Minnesota, Milwaukee, possibly an over. Bundy on the road is not very good. But Minnesota against lefties isn't very good either. So no real opinion there. I was looking at Rodon strikeouts against Arizona, but Arizona has not been striking out very much at all lately. I believe it was they're averaging 5 strikeouts per game in their last 3 games. So they're not striking out at all. Yes, Rodon is great, but I'm just with how Arizona's playing the last few games, I have no interest in trying to go for like 8 or 9 strikeouts in that one. So that's basically it for me on today's slate. As I said, follow me at Let's Go Wild Picks on BetStamp. I will most likely be adding a same game parlay for the Jays game, which will have some players to get a hit. I might also add Jose Barrios to record the win, which I saw at plus 105. I like that as well, so I'll be looking at that. But that's basically it for me on the slate. Nick, last pitch. What do you think here?
Yeah, I got a couple of spots I like. I got to the first 5 under 4 with the Braves and the Phillies. I like both those pitchers, Spencer Strider and Aaron Nola. I also went ahead and took the Braves full game at minus 122. That was another one where the bigger bets are coming in on the Braves. On that one there, where you see majority of the tickets on one side and the majority of the cash on the other. That's usually those are spots I like to follow the market with. I like the White Sox tonight at Colorado on the money line. I got that at minus 120. I've got the first 5 under 3.5 at minus 125 for the Astros and the Athletics. And I'm closing out my card with the same thing I closed out my card with yesterday to a point. I only have them first 5, but I'm willingly betting the Washington Nationals tonight. It's not they're minus 300 Dodgers, and I have to bet on the Nationals. I want to back the Nationals tonight. Josiah Gray on the road has looked like an absolute stud. He's 5-0 with a 2.14 ERA on the road this year compared to an ERA above 6 and a 2-6 record in Washington. So for whatever reason, he doesn't pitch good at home, but on the road, he looks like an absolute ace. And he's going back to the place that he was traded from in that Max Scherzer trade. So this is a spot here where I willingly took the Nationals in the first 5 innings at plus 175.
Some football news here. Interesting. Julio Jones signs a 1-year deal with the Bucs. Bryant, what do you think here for last pitch?
Yeah. I don't have too many plays in some of these games later on. But the Braves, Phillies, my biggest play is I do like the Braves money line. I'm still iffy on if I am going to bet it. But I do like the Braves, Phillies F5 under 4 at minus 125. Strider's had some moments where he's shown that he's a rookie and he's very fastball reliant. I think like over 60% of his pitches are from the 4-seamer. And if he's not locating and his secondary pitches aren't getting people off the fastball, things can get dicey for him. So I'm kind of cautious about it, but ultimately I think he does get through this lineup, as both of these teams are much better offensively against lefties. And because of that, Nola shouldn't have too much of a problem against his Braves team. He's seen most of these guys a lot. He's 2-0 against them this year. So the F5 under 4 is my best play in that. I like the Giants to win, but there's no value at minus 190. I think that's definitely a good little parlay piece. Someone, whoever you are, I appreciate this, requested this special on our book. And that was the Carlos Rodon to get the win, to be credited with the win. And it was plus 115. So I'll take that. Much better than I will take the Giants to win. And I think the Giants only win, basically, really because Rodon gave them 6-7 innings and the offense was able to get to Gilbert. This Giants bullpen is not reliable at all. And if they somehow find their way into the playoffs, it's probably going to be their undoing. Or if they don't make the playoffs, it's largely because of the bullpens cost them some games or not being able to keep them in games. So I like Rodon to bounce back. I think that blister, whatever he had going on with him, is a lot better now. So ultimately, yeah, give me Rodon at plus 115 to be credited with the win for this game. I like the White Sox as well. I know Kopech struggled a little bit, but I'm not in the mood to back Herman Marquez today. I just think that White Sox have a little bit more in their bullpen, whereas the Rockies get real dicey. They somehow pulled a game off yesterday when I expected it to go over, but they ended up playing a 2-0 game against the Brewers after scoring runs upon runs upon runs the other games prior. So go figure. But they're back in the friendly confines of Coors Field, and so you know what that means. Two pitchers that struggle with walks at times can only lead to runs, but I don't like betting totals over 10. That's a very risky proposition for me. I generally stay away from them. So I do like the White Sox to win this game. And I also, I like the Astros to bounce back tonight. I don't know what happened yesterday. I've been in the process of moving, which is explaining my absence from the show. And I not live bet, but I put in a basically blind play for the Astros run line, thinking that they would just wreck Adam Oller. That didn't happen. Didn't happen at all. Instead, the Astros got lit up in they gave up 5 runs in 1 inning, and I think they bounced back. I know it's against Montas, but they ultimately will do what's necessary and get this win tonight. At minus 165, I don't really see too much value betting it singularly, so I will probably look at the F5 money line for a heavier usage of my units. But I do think they win, so I would mix it in with something else. But I'm not gonna single bet the Astros money line. But other than that, that's it. I think the Dodgers do win, but I think that Nick has a valid point in betting the Nationals F5. I think that's a very smart value play just because of how well Gray looks on the road. He's got the motivational factor as well, going back to play the Dodgers. So, yeah, those are my plays.
All right. Yeah, yesterday was the definition of a dog day. All the dogs came through. Luckily, that doesn't happen all the time. So, but yeah, for people who bet the favorites a lot, the dog day is not really fun. But we'll go on to today's best bets, and we'll start with over/under. For me, Tampa Bay, Baltimore, first 5 under 4. Tim went with the New York Mets team total over 3.5. Dave took Atlanta, Philadelphia under 7.5. And Ryan took Houston, Oakland under 7. Nick, no total for you today?
Oh, I never got around to putting that one in. Yeah, I'm gonna put one in real quick.
All right. Bryant, what do you think here for a total?
Yes, sir. It's Shane Mack Day. and I'm going with the Orioles F5 team total under 0.5. That is at plus 190. I guess it doesn't really matter, but for people who are listening and watching the show, it is plus 190. So if you're feeling ballsy and like making plus money like this, it's a fun single bet to pay attention to. So
There we go. Tim wants to know who's in first place for over under. Shocking that he asks this because he is in first in over under. So that's the answer. It's Tim Earl.
That's crazy
That's
that
who's in
he
first.
would ask that who's in first place when he's in first place. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
shocking, eh? Right?
Almost like he should know that by now.
Yeah. We'll go on to dog of the day. For me, no dogs that I'm on today. So nothing for me. Nothing from Dave either. Ryan is taking the Minnesota Twins. And Nick and Tim are taking the New York Mets.
Yep.
Who could have seen
him
that
at plus
coming?
money.
Bryant, what do you think here? Any dogs you like today?
no dogs for me today.
All right. And we will go on. So for people watching, when football season comes, we will reset the best bets, obviously, because we'll have a lot of new people, other people on as well. And then going on in the future, dog of the day, I'm going to start tracking the units because a lot of us are in the red, but I guarantee you that a lot of us are actually in the green if you track it by units. So dog of the day will track by units in the future. But parlay piece here, me and Nick, we're on the same thing here. Toronto Blue Jays money line. Tim's going to the WNBA and taking Chicago Sky money line. Dave is going with Miami first 5, and Ryan is taking the Dodgers money line. Bryant, what do you think here for parlay piece?
Yes, my parlay piece is going to be the Dodgers money line.
All right. And then going on to best bets. For me, I got 2 units on it. So I'm putting it here definitely as my best bet. Toronto Blue Jays, a -1.5, which the best odds for that right now, I believe, is -108. 2 units. Nick, you got 5 units from it yesterday, so you're going right back to it. Washington Nationals first 5 money line, +185 for 2 units. Tim is going with a same game parlay here. Yankees and Mets over 8, parlayed with the Mets money line for +300 for 1 unit. Dave is going with the New York Yankees money line.
Good man.
1 unit. That was also his free pick video yesterday. Nick, I love the eye roll from that. And then Ryan is taking Seattle and Texas over 8. Bryant, what do you think here for best bet?
Well, I did mention during the Yankees-Mets segment that my best bet was coming from this, and it's time. My best bet is Gleyber Torres to have 1 or more hits and the Yankees to win the game. And that is at +145. And my rationale for people who may be interested in it, Gleyber's
1 or 2 units?
I'm gonna go 1 unit. I got to get back into the swing of things, so we got to build it back up. But Gleyber's starting to put things together. This has been a really good bounce back season for him. He's batting a little bit over like 290 over the month of July. He tends to show up in big series like this for whatever reason. He's also had the most walk-off hits / RBIs in baseball over the last couple of years, at least for the Yankees. I just think that this is a series where he shines bright, and I think it's a good bet that he'll get a hit tonight, and ultimately I'm banking on the Yankees to get a win, and get plus money there. So.
All right. Figured we blow by the standings here quickly before we go. Parlay Pieces obviously doing well. And best bets, it's a close race at the top here between the 3 of us. And then the minuses are all getting smaller. So it's pretty good results here. I think that shows up a total of 7 units currently in total. But that is the show. If you're watching on Twitter, come join us on YouTube. We'd love to have you. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the content, smash the like button. As Tim said, hit the notifications on so you know when we go live, which is Monday to Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern. Saturday is usually around 1, Sunday probably around noon. And then we'll also have the hockey preview shows coming, as well as NFL as well. The NFL show will be every Wednesday. So there'll be a specific NFL show. But best of luck on everybody's bets tonight. And we will see you again tomorrow for another episode of Getting Wild with Terry and Friends. How's it going, guys?